So new construction is obviously what we're known for at Moderno Construction Management, but that doesn't always mean that we are building a brand new structure. And sometimes, especially when people are clinging to these low interest rates, they're saying, okay, maybe our family is expanding, or maybe I want to, bring mom home and care for her and do kind of maybe a multi-gen setup. But boy, I'm really at capacity with where I'm at right now. And in those cases, it can really make sense to just do an addition and expand onto the side of the home. Okay.
Or even the renovation part, maybe they have a large space downstairs, or they have something above the garage, or maybe there's a space that doesn't fit that need in someone's life at the moment, right? So changing what that looks like within the four walls of your home, rather than venturing out to find something existing that fits that need or build something new, it can maybe slightly modified to fit that need.
I love that you say that, Jake, because I think a lot of times people are combing through the market and saying, gosh, my family's expanding in one capacity or the other, or, just dynamic of family changes, right? They're searching and they cannot find it in the open market right now. It's just not there. And yet they don't really want to leave where they are because of interest rates and whatever. They're in the right school district. They want to stay where they are. And the option just isn't available to them. And maybe new construction is just a little bit too daunting or what have you. Then additions really do serve a great purpose.
For sure. Yeah. And I think it's because of that next chapter in somebody's life, right? Like, there's really no need to change unless something's, forcing you to make that change. So, like you said, if there's the mother-in-law's coming in, or we have aged parents that need to come with us, so we have to remodel or do an addition for them. Whereas the family's growing, right? We didn't have anticipations of staying here this long, but here we are. And it just makes sense. We're kind of, we're part of the community, right? So staying there sometimes does make the most sense, and adding on to the home to give it more longevity or make it fit the need for the day.
So when we're looking at this project behind us, we can kind of see that the existing structure stops and then the foundation has been poured around it. When we're doing additions like this, how does that affect the day-to-day living of someone within, right? Now we're not talking maybe remodel inside at this point, we're really talking about addition. Can that really be, by and large, kind of something that the lifestyle of the family keeps ticking on the inside, and then this just becomes the construction zone, if you will? Or do they typically need to move out of their home?
Yeah, great questions, right? And both remodeling and doing an addition really share that same conversation, because there's a lot of disruption that people don't always maybe connect with, right? We're close to it every day. This is what we do. We wake up and we do this every day, and we've done it for so long. It kind of becomes normal or second. Yeah, it's what we are, right? So putting ourselves in the client's shoes and put that shoe in the other foot and just say, hey, this is what you're going to expect, right? And maybe it is moving out for a certain period of time, because sometimes people can't handle or don't want that stress of, hey, I've got someone knocking on my door at 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's loud and it's noisy, it's dusty, the environment isn't always great. In the parking, right? We got contractors on the street and in the driveway, and typically the outside landscaping is going to get kind of disturbed, and it's going to get shook up for a little while, right? So if that doesn't sit well with a client, we just advise let's maybe move out for a little while, right? Or
at least those heavy construction months, right? And then slide back in or whatever. How long does it take something like this to transpire? So obviously the foundation is poured on this particular project to take out the wall, frame it up, all the things. What are we looking at for a project of this size for an addition?
We usually like to gauge, a six months time period, is really, and it can be more depending on the design piece, but I'd say the hard construction, when, you put the shovel in the ground, I usually allow for that, 5 to 6 months. Obviously depending on size of the structure and weather is a big thing. We start in a winter or fall season versus summer. But yeah, just allowing for that couple months of disruption, and sometimes people just, it's tough to connect with that timeline at times. So really trying to advise clients and customers what the expectations are, right? And certain working times, if they are staying in the home, trying to be mindful and cognizant of, they have family time too, right? And there's certain times where we can work and we can't. And that can also put delay schedule, right? If we have to work between these parameters, that's fine, it's great. But it might take another month longer, right? So just having communication, right? That is the number one key to a less stressful process, is just understanding expectations, having the conversations steadily throughout the process helps.
So I love this, Jake. You had mentioned timing. Is there a good time to start an addition? Right? I mean, we live in Minnesota. We've got all 4 seasons, right? How do we time this in the right way? We've got kids' school, and we've got all of the, all the things that are going on in our lives, right? Cabin in the summer or whatever. When is the right time to tear into a project like this?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when maybe, I'm going to say one more thing, when does the design need to start to tear into that project at the right time?
You know, great questions. I don't think there's a one size fits all because I think that goes back to the client's needs, right? I think certain clients may travel at different seasons. They have different work schedules. Kids have different sports schedules. There's so much that we try to, you know, we really become part of that client's life for 5 to 6 months. So Mother Nature is our nemesis. You know, we don't get along very well. But you know, starting that process when it works for the client.
So really we can tarp this off and heat it and all of that. So those aren't really constraints to be, that should, you know.
No, I would always say, what does the client need and what are the client's expectations? Are we trying to get this done for a certain event, a graduation, a wedding? Having those conversations, I mean, realistic with those timelines, right, is important. So really, any time is good, but whatever's best for the client is
the right answer. For more information on additions and how that might fit into your lifestyle in your home, feel free to reach out to Jake or myself, Ashley, at homesbymoderno.com.